later in 1995, I applied with the Grants Pass Department of Public Safety. The agency hired me. I moved down to Grants Pass from Corvallis and basically started my full-time law enforcement career. I was there for 3 years, of which Gil had mentioned that I got hired. Well, he didn't mention that I got hired, but he spoke of a COPS grant. It's community-oriented policing grant. It's federally funded, yet there's some strings attached to the end of it. Worked out very well for me. It was at that point that I learned how important it was and is to get close to the community, get close to the people in the community. That was the idea of it. I was part of a community resource team, and that was a good start for me. However, all things ever changing, I decided to move elsewhere and see the world through the windshield of an Oregon State Police cruiser. And it was a great 3 years for me when I was with them. I was hired by them in '98. I was placed in Fossil, Oregon as a resident trooper. It was a great job. I lived in, like I said, little town of Fossil. It was Wheeler and Gilliam counties, kind of north-central Oregon. About the same size as Josephine and Jackson, yet I was the only trooper, minus a couple way up by the, on the Columbia Gorge. There I learned, again, how important it is as a resident trooper and working with resident deputies in there to infuse yourself with the county. In that particular case, 2 counties. The information, the cooperation, the satisfaction that I was able to gain and give to the people was just, it was phenomenal. A little too small a town for me and my wife. I asked for a transfer. They wouldn't give it to me. They saw some value in me as being an experienced officer, trooper, and they wanted me to stay. So, unfortunately, my wife and I had to make the decision for our kids that we wanted to move. I made a phone call back to the Grants Pass Department of Public Safety, and then Ron Schwartz made me promise to at least a 5-year stay and hired me back on a phone call. So I came back. I'm glad I did. It was a great move. I'm back. Well, I'm in a community. I live there too, but I'm in a community that I love. I'm in a place that I love. Again, why I'm running for sheriff, because I care about this place. It's beautiful. So, during my tenure with the Grants Pass, both before and after state police stint, I've done a lot of things. Gosh, major crimes detective for a number of years, investigating homicides, sexual assaults, kidnappings, tortures, you name it, of all sorts. I'm a medical legal death investigator. I'm a 16-year veteran of our SWAT team. Recently put me out on a shoulder injury, but a great experience being on the team. I'm one of the instructors for the team in chemical munitions, noise flash, diversionary devices, and less than lethal force. Also always so important. For 8 years, I was the Grants Pass Police Association president. Invaluable for me. I did it then, to be honest with you, for a couple reasons, but one of the reasons was because I knew I might be here someday. I knew there was always kind of that calling to do something a little different. I wanted to learn about the people I worked with, the brothers and sisters who I love, and I also wanted to learn about the administrative portion of it. And I did. I was able to settle 3 bargaining contracts or agreements. It's called binding arbitration is what it is because of the unions. And both sides were happy each time. It was a great deal for me. I could go on, and I know I'm probably running short on time, about my credentials.
3.5 minutes.
Thank you. My credentials, I do have a basic, intermediate, and advanced law enforcement certification. In 2013, I was awarded the Medal of Honor by the Grants Pass Department of Public Safety for a life-threatening event on December 20th, 2012, a day I will never forget. But I'm proud of the people that were with me that day, too. My education, I grew up in Portland. I went to Central Catholic High School, received a diploma there. I then moved down to Corvallis. I received a Bachelor's of Science in Communications from Oregon State University. And in 2010, I received a Master's in Management from Southern Oregon University down here in Ashland. A great program. One of the things about it that I really liked was it was outside the box. It made you think. Sometimes in law enforcement you get so wrapped into the black and the white and and all the numbers and the crunching you have to do and the reports and the rules, regulations, policies, procedures. But I was able to go outside in that program and it really opened me up. I think I'm going to be able to use some of those skills to benefit this county. And ultimately that is my goal. Me running for sheriff is not going to reach me to the end of my PERS days. This isn't an end for me. I have to work for what I'm doing here if I get to be the sheriff, because I need to go on. So you have that kind of effort. Okay. I come with passion for positive change. I really do. My goal is to work with you.
You have 1 minute.
Okay? I'm going to help to organize the community watch groups. They're not my agent. I'm going to work with the commissioners. They're not my enemies. I have to. We have to. I'm going to evaluate the dispatch center, whether or not it's worth saving the time in calls, the money extra spent, and the loss of the communication between the two CAD systems. Because there's two entities right now in Josephine County, and they're not communicating. The CAD system does work for the Grants Pass Department of Public Safety. I can tell you it does, because I used it today. You asked earlier if there were, what the issue was with adding patrol deputies to the road as opposed to the jail.
Well, how much of your budget would you dedicate to on-the-street patrol deputies? Period. I mean, how much of your budget would be that?
How about this for an answer? More. Okay, I can give you numbers, I can give you the budget, I can tell you what the jail has, and I can tell you what, I don't have enough time, but...
Well, yeah, let's make this the last, because we're so compressed already. And
absolutely, I apologize.
I feel good that this is give as much time as we can. Okay.
Adult jail, 1.1 million, looks like last year, 425. There's two deputies out there now, there's 30-ish deputies in the jail. Definitely going to put out more, 2 or 3 more, and they're going to go in positions that are that are going to be useful, as in resident deputy positions, because they need to be out there reaching you people. They need to be out reaching you people. That's what I did when I got hired the first time. That's what I did when I got hired with the Oregon State Police. That's what I'm going to do now when you guys hire me as sheriff. Question?
Dave, in 2008, when the sheriff first ran, I asked him this question in this very room. I said, will you be for a property tax levy? If he didn't say no, he certainly implied that he understood the economic situation of Josephine County. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question. And for me, if I get a middle-of-the-road answer, to me that will mean that you support a tax levy. There is a tax levy coming up. Josephine County citizens have voted this down numerous times.
Yes,
I've been against it every single time. How will you support the passage of this levy or not?
Certainly. I'm not going to give you a one-word answer to that because I don't think it's fair. I'm going to make this hopefully very clear, though. The tax levy coming up is not sustainable. It is not stable. What it does is it creates a wave, just like any levy does. It affects recruitment. It affects retention of the agency. It turns, as we will know, our agencies into training grounds. The Sheriff's Department trains and they leave because there's no security. You might not get that. Well, you do. The people they have there are quality personnel. They are. I know them. But they leave. I've seen it. Mike Vorberg, prime example. Best detective I've seen in a long time. Just took off and left our county. Unbelievable. Saddening. So, I don't believe in the levy system, but I'm a police officer. At the end of the day, what I see is pain, people hurting, people losing property, people getting their cars stolen, people being assaulted, people being, well, it's just brutal. It's brutal what I see. It's all we have left, yes.
I have to, because we're at 13 minutes here, and I would feel compelled to give Ed Benson 13 minutes, and we have commissioner candidates.
The answer is, if that's all we have, yes, until something else comes through, somehow. Something else. I don't want to, because I don't think it works, but I have to, morally. I have to.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.